It is the Riot. Hello, friends.
Hi, Obi.
How y'all doing?
Hi, not Hudson.
We're back. Better than ever. This is it.
Well, I think you did better with even not feeling well.
Yeah, so I'm still awake at the end of the show. That's something.
That is good.
Had a few days where I had to sleep before I drove home. So that.
Don't tell them all the secrets to your success.
That's great. So today in the podcast, we talk about Eric joining the Harbor Freight VIP program.
Got to get some more tools.
We talk Tesla, Black Widow, the fat dancing monkey, Godzilla. Thanks to Carl for the Stargate discussion. How Nikki and I should really think about freelancing from a van. Mm-hmm. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Kardashian mini malls.
Well, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the shrimp thing from yesterday.
Well, yeah.
The shrimp part's important.
I was like, hey, what happened yesterday? Nothing. And then I see that. I'm like, no.
Well, it was a lot of yesterday.
Things happen. So that's all in today's podcast.
Enjoy the podcast. As always, if you find something you want us to give you our opinion about and feature in the podcast, text us a link, 877-RadioU. Make sure you say your name. Just type that in there and that you're a podcast listener.
All right. You guys have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
I don't think it's just me or Nikki or America. I think it's a pretty human thing that we want to feel valuable because we can do things. I want to do things. Like from the time you're little, you're like, Dad, I want to turn the light switch on. I want to hit the button that opens the garage door. I want to decide who... Well,
it can go from there. It
totally does. So when we think of ourselves and the value that we add based on the job that we have, we see that a lot, right? Where it's like if we have a certain job, maybe one that allows us to build a mini mall in our backyard, we feel that we're suddenly very important. But maybe if our job doesn't sound as important or doesn't seem as important, or maybe we're not even working right now, all of a sudden we feel like we're worth less. Well, here's the thought that has been in my brain that I feel like God has brought it back to me over the last couple of days is that as far as God is concerned, we're his treasure and not his commodity. Jesus doesn't look at you as a way to advance his agenda. Jesus doesn't look at you as an employee. Jesus doesn't look at you as something he can use to turn a pretty profit. And if you do a good job, share a little bit of that with you, Obadiah. You could have a PlayStation and an Xbox. And well, think about putting a McDonald's food court in your mini mall. You know, it's not like that. Jesus loves you. If you didn't have anything to offer at all, Jesus would still love you. If all you could do was lay around all day, Jesus would still love you. He would still treasure you. And there are going to be days when you can't contribute. There are going to be days when you got nothing to add. There are going to be days that you are a drain on society. I'm not going to say what those days look like or if I've thought about it. But do you know that Jesus still loves you and treasures you on those days too? And I just want you to know that if wherever you are on that spectrum, you're loved as you are. And it's not about what you can do. It's just about God's love for you. If you don't know him, this might sound completely foreign to you because let's be honest, it's not really the way things work in the world. I want you to know that God loves you, and I want you to know that firsthand. You can just say, Jesus, I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I want to have a relationship with you. And if that's the first time, that's awesome. If you've known God for a long time and you've really gotten caught up in purpose, the purpose is you're loved. How about that?
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Here's a sentence you didn't expect to hear today. I wish Kim Kardashian was my mom.
Never heard that before?
Yeah, did you see what Kim Kardashian is building at her house?
It feels like it's a promo thing, like for her business.
I mean, maybe it is, but I think it might just be for her kids.
Maybe. I mean, it's got her brand on it, though, which makes it suspicious.
Just the one thing does.
The rest doesn't?
Like, she's built like a miniature mall in her backyard.
But it feels like she's having, because it's for her beauty brand. And it feels like.
There's just one beauty brand, Nikki. Look, there's like the Lego slide stuff.
But it feels like you're just inviting people over to learn one thing about the beauty brand, and they can play at the small buildings.
Well, here's what I'm thinking, okay? I'm thinking that you put your beauty brand thing in there, and all of a sudden it becomes a tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you can build.
People are taking pictures of it, like paparazzi stuff, and then now it's promoting the beauty brand.
Listen, I'm not a Kardashian person, but I got to tell you, this is awesome. I want it.
You want the little buildings in your house?
Yeah. Well, and look, here's a little Starbucks. They built a little Starbucks, and there's an ATM. Dave Ramsey is spinning in his grave.
It probably works.
It probably does.
Works, and we just don't know.
And you go get your allowance at the ATM. They probably have people working inside the Starbucks in the fake tiny mall.
You're like, where do you work at? Which Starbucks branch are you? Well, I'm at Kim Kardashian's house.
Like in her backyard?
And you're like, at the house itself? No, I'm at the mini mall in the back.
It's in the back. Yeah, it's not.
We're a news store.
We don't get a ton of business,
foot
but
traffic.
I still get paid.
It's fine.
It's no big deal.
Well, that does sound nice. Yeah, it's sad when you see. Well, who was the other guy? Oh, yeah. Remember when, was it LeBron James showed off the playhouse? Do you remember that behind his house for one of his kids?
Yes.
Man, you looked at that thing, you're like, that's nicer than your place.
It was like a full-blown house, but it was like built to his 8-year-old scale or something ridiculous like that.
I wouldn't mind moving in there. So this kind of similar. Like, that doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, it's fine. You know what's really cool about it, though, is just how happy I can be with so much less.
Yeah, you don't want all that pressure.
You
don't want a mini mall in your house, do you?
No. I don't. But see, I mean, think about it. Then you don't have to go to the mall anymore because you
build it in your backyard.
It's just right there.
I think then when you grow up, if that's what you experience, you're going to be really shocked when you go to the real mall. When it's not your mall.
You're saying that you're getting prepared for disappointment?
Well, yeah, it's going to be different when you get out there in the real world.
Look, I know, like that family's going through some hard times. You know, she's getting divorced, all this stuff with Kanye. But I'll just tell you right now, when your dad is valued at about $6 billion, you don't experience the mall the way we do.
Yeah, you never will.
They go to malls that we don't even know exist.
True.
There are places in this world that are completely unknown to normies like us, and that's where they're doing their shopping.
Well, they're so next level that it is just in their backyard. You just build it there.
You just put it there.
Well, it looks fun, and, we're not jealous or anything. I mean, do we want our own ATM in the backyard?
Yes.
If it was attached to someone else's bank account, sure, but it does look cute.
It's amazing.
Yeah, cute idea.
It's amazing. And I just want you to know, it's things like this that make me feel okay about that PlayStation I bought.
Worst of the Riot. RadioU.
Now, I'm not going to point any fingers here, but it was a few minutes ago on the show. I was like, man, I feel like I've been gone for a week. What did I miss? And everybody's like, you didn't miss anything. Ho-ho! I did.
Well, that was kind of more...
Topanga's husband found shrimp in his... Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
So yesterday,
that's everything.
Yesterday was trending a lot during the day about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The guy who tweeted at, that would be General Mills and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that he had found 2 shrimp tails in his bag of cereal. And everybody just kind of gathered along for the journey of the tweets back and forth between them.
Amazing.
And if you look at them,
Twitter is so
they look like shrimp tails.
There are places where Twitter doesn't shine. It's shining here.
I know this is why you keep Twitter. Like, this is the only reason when things like this blow up.
The guy who has managed to coast by for 25 years doing no work as the lawyer for Cinnamon Toast Crunch is having a heart attack right now.
Well, if you think about it, how is it possible for shrimp tails, so the tail of the shrimp, not the actual body of it, and General Mills, like in Cinnamon Toast Crunch, they said it is basically just a big piece of the crunch parts from the cereal, like the seasoning and everything. But he's like, no.
I don't think so, guys.
And no one really knows outside of him.
So.
But he says, no, it's got to be a shrimp tail.
That it is.
It looks like it, but how would it get in the bag of cereal unless it...
Well, that's what we would like to know.
Sometimes, people lie. I don't think he's lying because it does look like it's got the coating that the cereal has itself. So it looks like it came from the bag.
Okay, I get it. Like, people do whatever on the internet, but the fact that this guy, I would say it was a publicity stunt if he led with the fact that so I'm married to Topanga, but he's just
he's married to an actress who was on Boy Meets World a long time ago.
They didn't lead with that. He's just like...
No one found that out till yesterday later, and then the story got even bigger because they're like, he wouldn't lie.
Oh, I love this tweet. If you've ever eaten Cinnamon Toast Crunch, don't worry about what's in the vaccine.
It's fine.
Boom. There you go. That's everything, right?
You're like, what's the big deal with shrimp tails? Well, that's an allergy thing. Like, that can be a potentially big problem. And it's like, well, how in the world did it get there? Was someone on the factory line, eating shrimp tails? Like, what were they eating? Did they eat shrimp and throw the tails in?
I don't know. The other thing they pointed out is, of course, this is somebody else. It's crazy the way this works. But somebody was tracking through some CNN and MSNBC reporters right now. Mm-hmm. So you've got the what happened in Boulder, Colorado yesterday. So you've got this guy from CNN tweeting about the Boulder thing. He's supposedly wait. He's supposedly working at the press conference.
Yeah.
In his tweets, he's retweeting the Cinnamon Toast Crunch story during that.
Oh my gosh, that's wrong. Oh, he really wasn't thinking about that one.
Boy, there's so much going on here.
Oh, geez. Well, there's no other update from Cinnamon Toast Crunch. This is just a thing.
No.
They offered him free stuff, so coupons and things, but he said that because they were pretty serious about the fact it wasn't shrimp tails, and he was saying they were shrimp tails, he's not lying. He didn't seem too up on that.
Yes. Another great tweet that I'm seeing is that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is gaslighting Topanga's man.
That's what he said. He tweeted that at them. It's then he was mad.
You done did it now.
Oh, you made him mad.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. We're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
I was only gone for a day, but I feel like I've been gone for a week.
Because
I don't know.
Well, you've been sick with your thing since last Thursday, Friday, so it's probably why.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe. Okay. All right. Thanks, Nikki.
You're welcome.
But it does. It feels like I've been gone forever. I want to be like, hey, guys, somebody get me an update. What's been going on?
What all's been happening?
What all's been going on? What did I miss? They're like, it's been a day. No.
Well, sometimes, things can really change in a day. It could be.
I don't know. It feels like I've been gone for a long time, but I'm back if you guys care. And some of you will. Some of you don't. It appears to be sinus infection 14. Can
your body even have that?
I don't even know.
Oh, my gosh.
So, I've been dealing with long haul COVID. I've been to specialists. I've been to doctors. I've worked from the basement. I've stayed home. I've had fevers. I've had whatever. And now it appears that I had a sinus infection a while ago, and they were like, no, let's take x-rays. It's not a sinus infection. Never mind. It's COVID. Go home. And now I'm like,
well, no, it wasn't COVID. It was just your COVID.
Long haul
COVID. It wasn't the new thing with it, but.
AKA, we can't help you at all. Go home.
You were just too early then. Now you really do have the sinus infection, or at least they assume.
That's, yeah.
So now you need to go to a sinus infection doctor.
Here, take these. They'll probably help. I don't know. Listen, if you're about to die, call 911 and do us a favor. If you could get on the floor, it's harder to get you out of the bed.
I just want to talk to your doctor. I just want to have an interview with him. Be like, hey, what is it?
I think it's great. They're everybody's just doing their best work.
I'm sure they're professional and they're fine.
It's fine. And you know what? Look at this. I'm here. I don't want to talk about tomorrow. Let's focus on today.
I know. Don't say anything about that.
And you know what? Let's just put one foot in front of the other.
Oh.
All right. We're all going to hold hands and walk bravely.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Nope.
We're all gloves? Gloved hands?
No. Not until everything's done.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be great.
Why you go? There's still a little cake left over. Oh, you ate all the cake in there? It was just a little sliver left.
It was just a sliver. And I also want you to know that I just used my finger and ran around the outside, all the little places there was still icing.
The edge of icing? Yes.
I ate that too.
Well, that along with your antibiotics is a guarantee to feel better today.
And I'm taking antibiotics. Then you got to take a probiotic.
Well,
you got to have a probiotic with an antibiotic.
Aren't you not supposed to have dairy with antibiotics?
Whatever. Nobody knows. You can look it up, and they'll be like, why you shouldn't have dairy while taking an antibiotic. 2 clicks later, the reason you need dairy while taking an antibiotic.
Someone Google the effects of buttercream icing on an antibiotic, and then tell us how he should have the rest. Like, should he double up, or are you good? You don't need it today. You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah. Well, and could you see, will a probiotic affect the outcome? Because I took one of those.
Oh, you did?
I got a pro
and an anti.
I'll wait an hour, do an anti.
You're crossing each other out.
No, see, that's what I thought. I was like, that's dumb. The probiotic is supposed to help my digestive proteins.
Because the antibiotic is harsh.
Will kill all that off.
Gosh,
so when you take that's one of the fun things about antibiotics is when you take them, then when they kill everything else, then your body has to rebuild. That's a fun process.
I think you need a new antibiotic, like a surprise, because they're so used to the current one. That way they're like, what's this?
This is delicious.
We better listen to him.
I can't believe it's not antibiotic.
I know. And then again, how to take your pills. Just put it in buttercream.
Oh, my gosh. Now that sounds nice. Buttercream for everyone.
A spoonful of icing and whatever pills you have to take, and you'll be fine.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
Even though it's been kind of optional now, we're living in this in-between world. We just found out that sometimes you can go to the movies, sometimes not. Godzilla is going to be on HBO Max. Black Widow is going to be on Disney Plus Premium. So you can pay $30 to see it at home instead of going to the theater. But starting in 2022, Warner Brothers has just struck a deal that it will show its movies in theaters first.
So that goes back to the traditional way that it was, but they're saying this would be for 45 days in theaters before they start offering it on demand or then eventually physically in copies.
Man, 45 days is still a really tight window because for a long time.
That's what it's been though.
No, 90.
90? Okay,
yeah.
I thought they had already moved it sooner for in-demand stuff.
I mean, maybe.
It was always maybe 90 days for, again, physical copies if you wanted to buy it. But a lot of times they would do a little trickery, I feel.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that it was a straight up 90-day window, but maybe you're right. Maybe they had a different deal for on demand.
Yeah, you would always see on demand 30 days before.
I don't remember what I was before this happened.
You don't remember how it was. But
life before the pandemic.
But yeah, they are going to go back to doing in theaters first, but that's not until next year.
Yeah. So they're saying in 2022, they've struck a deal with Cineworld, and they're the people that own Regal. Regal's been hugely successful in Nikki and I's hometown. There's, I think, one left, and it may now be out of business.
Oh, I wonder. Did it go out of business? I've never been there.
I don't know.
But it's kind of outside our movie theater area.
So
where we would go. So I've never seen something there.
They say that's next year. This year they're going to keep. Regal hasn't been open. They'll open theaters in April for the first time since September of last year
when they closed. So this comes after Warner Brothers announced, back in December that all 17 of its 2021 movies for this year would be available on HBO at the same time as theaters at no extra cost. That made theaters mad, but they're saying once theaters open up and it goes back for next year, they'll go back to the normal style.
I don't want theaters to close. I love going to the movies, but man, as they say, this genie is not headed back into that bottle.
I know you can't quite put it back to exactly how it was. We're too spoiled to just watch something immediately at home.
That's like the first time your mom let you have Pop-Tarts for breakfast. She was like, this is a one-time thing. We're never doing it again.
And then you got to go back to like eggs the next day.
Then you asked every day for a year. And eventually your mom is just like, whatever, leave me alone. Eat the stupid Pop-Tarts.
But this will bring it back to, again, how it used to be with movie theaters, but it would have a 45-day window in between its release.
Yeah. So you guys know where Nikki and I will be talking to our friends in China.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Want to say hi to Carl in Florida. Carl is somebody that we hear from often. He tries to get us to play video games we don't like. And
it seems like between you and him, he likes you just tease each other about the games and the movies.
So he wants to know if he would send me the entire collection of Stargate and Stargate Atlantis. Would I dedicate a year to getting through them all, like through the course of a year?
Oh,
and
how many are there?
Is that going to be my vlog/blog? That's going to be my key to fame. Like, I'm watching all of Stargate.
I tell you what, Carl, if Obi decides to move into that van life we were talking about, and then that's what you do during your time while you're just parked somewhere, you're just making your way through the entire collection of these older shows, then yeah.
Here's me in Grand Tetons watching Stargate.
It's like... that'd really make a fun channel. Like, you could totally be in this most beautiful, picturesque areas, and you're there watching a show.
Hey, have you ever noticed how, like, every time on Stargate they go outside, it just looks like they're outside of Vancouver?
Well, there it is. That's because that's where they were at.
My bad. That's what I'll do is like, oh, no, see, and we'll make it a whole thing where it's me trying to find the locations from everybody's favorite episodes, which...
Just a few of you guys.
Which are those? And
well,
what?
It's, generous of you, Carl, but maybe not. He's got a lot he's still trying to watch through.
Man, I haven't even caught up on Superman and Lois last night. I can't be stargating. I haven't watched the Justice League thing yet.
Oh, you haven't finished it yet? Oh,
no, not yet.
Yeah, you do need to catch up then.
I'm supposed to get together with a friend tonight and finish Justice League. So that way, week later...
don't you have to start it all over again, or...
I don't know, whatever.
Is he at the same spot you are, or how's that work?
We'll have to talk about it.
You got to go back to the beginning of the 4-hour movie.
Well, I'll tell you what, it'll feel like I'm quitting my job and living in a van.
I don't want you tired tomorrow because you came in because you stayed up late watching that.
I stayed up till 8:30. I was watching Justice League.
It's like, I can't handle it.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, thanks, Carl, and everybody else for texting. I mean, you guys are so generous to
such a willingness to share.
To share your favorite movies and shows and stuff.
Such a willingness to share.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
Well, Nikki, how stressed out do you feel right now?
Pretty stressed.
It's
been a week.
Do you feel like you're in a high pressure corporate job?
Well, no. I mean, ours is not a corporate job. No.
Okay. Do you have panic attacks?
No.
Are you completely anxiety free?
No.
So you're somewhere in between?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, Nikki, here's what I want to do. I want to throw out this option that I actually think could be good for either one of us, and that is we just quit.
We quit. Well, then
if we do what Hillary did, and I don't mean Hillary Clinton, okay? I'm talking about Hillary Bird.
What did she do?
She bought a $6,200 van.
Yeah.
That she spent $5,000 renovating and converting. It took about 5 months. And now she just drives around. She does freelance work. Mm-hmm. Which is basically what you want when you want. It's also less money for so much more work, but we don't have to talk about that.
Because sometimes, you got to be working towards saving down the road. Yeah. So it's not just always, what you can make.
So now she just travels and has a good time.
I don't think I can do that. If I lived in like a fantasy vacation world, Yeah, like put me on an island, put me on the beach, and I just had magic money, then I would do that.
Well, I mean, you got to figure that, again, if she's doing freelance, so what do? You get one of those mobile hotspots. Here she is sitting here.
Well, you basically have to become social media driven if that's what you're going to be doing.
She's sitting here with her Mac. It looks like it's plugged into some kind of a charger thing. And so she's working, and here she is cooking on her little grill that is powered by the little cans of propane. Little is a key word that we're going to be embracing.
For much.
Yeah. But she sleeps in there. So what I'm saying is, like, her expenses are pretty low.
Probably. I mean, outside of gas, which I can't right now. It's a lot.
No, gas is... Does anybody feel like we got money from the government so we can pay the gas company?
It's like, here, pay for all this.
That's what I keep thinking. I'm like, well, I'm glad I got that stimulus check.
I will say, I feel like, honestly, everybody's completely different. So you can't go look at this and think, oh, that got rid of her anxiety. That'll get rid of my anxiety. Whereas you might just be made differently, and you need a home base. You need this or you need that, and her fix is not going to help you at all.
I don't know, Nikki. I mean, that's what we say right now, but
we haven't tried it.
The thing is, and if you look at this picture, she's smiling in it. And do you know that pictures are worth 1,000 words? They show everything.
Automatically, because she's smiling in it, it all just looks like a lie.
So,
doesn't it? Like, it just looks fake.
Here, let me read some of what she says. She says, van life is definitely what you make of it.
Yeah.
Most days I love the sense of not knowing where the day will take me. Will I stay at the same camp or find a new one? Will I do a cool hike or work from the van all day? Do I need supplies? Do I want to meet up with friends? She says, though, some days are exhausting because everything you take for granted while living in a house now becomes a micro decision that is draining. You end up lying around in your van all day, stuck in analysis paralysis. But mostly the freedom to choose your own schedule is inspiring.
Sure.
So
she
calls it van life.
Yeah, you can do that.
Well, you know what, Nikki, you and I, van life.
I'll be like, look, Nikki, home life. She has a home. She's good.
I've given up all my stressful van life. I never have to ask myself, where am I going to be the next day? Where's my food going to come from?
It's so like if you go back a couple of years ago when tiny houses were so popular, and now they're so not. And everybody who had a tiny house moved into like an apartment or a house just because you could only handle that for so long.
Yeah. Well, she says that it's loaded with difficulties. It hasn't been perfect, but she just keeps reminding herself that, hey, what I've gained is so much more than what I've lost in what she's doing. So there you go. We need $11,000 and we need to quit everything.
Vehicles, sell everything, and there you are.
Yeah, and I mean, if you and I decided to go at it together, we could still do the riot. We'll each get our own van.
Just from the vans.
Honestly, like, I've got enough equipment. All we need is like one more microphone. That's it.
That's a we'll see.
Okay.
We might have to turn the van around if I don't like it, though.
I think I'd give us a week.
Yeah.
I think
then it really starts to sink in.
You know, it's all fun and games. I just want you to know, too, that Nikki's the one that has it to stick it out, not me. Nikki would be like, no, we're doing it.
When I commit to something, I will manage it. I won't be happy, but I'll manage it.
Calling my mom like, Mom, I want to come home now.
I got to talk you down from it.
Listening to the worst of the riot is the equivalent of standing in line at the BMV. Ugh. Worst of the riot. RadioU.
Nikki, did you guys talk about the disappearing ink tattoo?
No, we did not.
Did you see this?
I have not.
There's a tattoo parlor in Williamsburg, but they say that they have come up with what they call the ephemeral tattoo, or that's the name of the place. It opens on March 25th. And it's an actual tattoo. So it's going to be applied with a tattoo gun and like all that kind of stuff. So it's not an iron on, a soak on, a wash on, a pull off, a sticky.
I hope it's not an iron on.
Well,
just on our body, that doesn't sound very good.
Well, you know what? when you think about tattoos, they don't sound very good either.
I don't know. Iron on sounds worse.
I'll iron on this tattoo. Oh, that's a terrible idea. Instead, let's use this needle to prick you thousands of times and put it under your skin.
Well, maybe.
Just saying.
So what's unique about the tattoo, though?
So they say that it's made to fade and that it will last somewhere between 9 and 15 months.
Dude, that's everything.
Tattoo not like a real tattoo.
Well, your tattoo will fade anyways, but not like this. This will fade away.
This will fade to nothing.
Mm-hmm. That is good. That way you could try it out to see if you like something.
I think it's great because that would be exactly what I need for a tattoo, which is to say I would get it and then I would have a whole year to basically sit back and see if I like it.
Sure.
And the answer is no. I don't like anything for more than like a month. So this way I can have all of those strong tattoo vibes and then it'll go away in a year.
So I wonder so they say the secret is the ink, which they developed with I hate that word.
Dermatological assistants?
Skin doctors to ensure safety, and its particles are small enough to be broken down and absorbed by the body, so you'll get an even fade over time, because what would be worse is just parts of it fades.
Right.
And then you don't have your beautiful design that you spent all that time on. You just have part of it.
I do love how this article interviews some people that apply regular tattoos now and say this is against what tattoos stand for: the permanence, the commitment, the rebellious spirit.
Yeah, they say the tattoo also, like, it costs the same as a permanent tattoo. So
sure. Because you're paying the artist, really.
The pain is the same. Everything is the same except how long it stays on you.
I just think that it would be a good starter tattoo. So that you would get that, you'd wait it out, and then find out if it's something that you actually wanted.
But that's how you find out if you want more or if that was the only thing you wanted. And then you go and get it removed if you don't like it, like everybody else does.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's an option. It's out there. In this particular case, where did I say they are located? Are they in New York City? No, Williamsburg. So I'm sure that just because they're offering it there, it's probably available in a lot of other places too.
Yeah, it seems like it. But remember, it's about 6 months to a year that it'll take to start fading.
I'd love that. Ephemeral tattoo. Regret nothing. I love it.
Except paying full price. You're renting it for like a year. That's it.
Nikki, think of it as Eric's Harbor Freight knives.
Yeah. No, that's the bargain bin one. That's when you go and you're just like, yeah, just whatever. Just what's on sale over there. What would be cheap enough?
You go in and just be like, or think about this. You could really impress somebody that you're dating. You get their name tattooed on you and don't worry, it'll be gone soon.
Actually, that is better. The one thing I couldn't tell, though, is it any colors or it just seems black and white? Like just black ink?
It's just a black ink tattoo.
So you can't do anything color, because that's the ones where like there's certain colors for tattoos that they'll fade quickly, or others that if you want to remove them, good luck to you.
Yeah, you can't get it out. Yeah,
you can, but it'll take a lot harder than other, just like if it's a black ink.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
He's fine. He doesn't even want that.
Still too scared.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on RadioU.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but last night, say 6:30-ish, my Amazon, what's her name? Alexa, she's like, bing.
She tells you there's something.
Yeah, she started making this noise. It didn't do that for a long time, and now she'll be like, bing. And that means that a package has been delivered.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I shuffled my way outside, and there was a package, and it was the brand new 4K remaster, transfer, blah, 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 everything of Godzilla, the 2014 hit film featuring Scarlet Witch and the other guy who's not in movies anymore.
Ah, okay. So the one...
And Bryan Cranston.
So that's the one that people liked, right?
Yes.
That was the cuddlier...
Well, it's the one where everybody was like, I wish there would have been more Godzilla. That one.
Yes, okay, that one.
I'll tell you, I think that movie plays better now than it did the first time I saw it.
It holds up?
Well, you know what it is? Sometimes when you go back to these movies, when you go see a movie, sometimes it really, really bears the weight of your expectations. They're all the things you want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to balance your expectations and your hopes for something versus what it really is. And so sitting down last night, I forgot I pre-ordered it like 3 months ago.
Bonus.
So it was a genuine surprise. So, I'm losing my mind enough that I'm now getting surprise gifts for myself.
You feel like someone bought it for you and you're like, no, you just bought it several months ago.
I paid for it. Thank you. So it shows up and there was when I sat down to watch it, I had just zero expectations. No, I really hope they this.
Yeah.
I just watched it, and you know what? Just watching it was great. Especially some of the imagery was insane. A lot of people complained about the human element. It was fine. I mean, it's a little convenient that one guy, the actor whose name I cannot remember, just happens to be present for every single major event that's ever happened. I mean, they write it in there in a way that it's, it stretches believability. Even in a movie with giant monsters, it still
There's
stretches
still something that stretches too much.
But you know what? I thought it was pretty good.
Good.
And it rumbled. So that's my review on this 7-year-old movie that you already
So that
knew
was
about.
the 2014 one.
Yeah, it's the first time it's been available in 4K, which that seems to be HBO Max's thing, is that they'll give you any movie you want, just not in 4K.
Yeah.
Except, okay, so the new Justice League thing, it's 4K, but it's only going to be there for another 2 weeks or something like that. So, no, that's not it. That's wrong. That movie is going to be there forever. It's the Godzilla movie that will only be there for a month.
Sure. Then it'll come back down the road.
How to survive the riot. Do the complete opposite of everything they say. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
If you guys could please not feed the monkey, please.
You don't want to.
Speaking of Godzilla, they named the monkey Godzilla. Don't they know you're supposed to name the monkey King Kong?
Well, I mean, it's just a tank top, I think, that it wears. So that's kind of where it got its name from.
It's wearing a Godzilla tank top?
Well, in some, yeah.
I'll tell you, its rolls have become so substantial that I can't tell.
The tank top's up, you just can't tell what's on there.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, there's a monkey. He has been rescued since he was 3 years old. He's been living at this
a food stall
in Bangkok. And the owner says that he gets the monkey up to exercise every morning, but it is still he's really unhealthy.
They use the O word, the obese
He's an obese monkey.
Yeah, they're saying that. I think he weighs about 44 pounds. That's too big for a monkey.
It's like, ha, ha, ha. And then when you look at him, you're like, this guy can't. Look at him laying on his stomach. He's like, I can't breathe.
Just too much.
It's too much for me.
You know, every meme where you're like after a holiday or something, it's basically that.
This poor guy, and you
could tell like he feels uncomfortable. They say that he tipped the scales, like the top probably was closer to 60 pounds.
And
they're only supposed to be about 20 pounds.
He probably doesn't even know why.
He doesn't feel good.
He doesn't know why. He's like, I don't feel really great. I feel a little bit better after I eat stuff, but then after that I go back to not feeling very good.
Yeah. Aw. So he is heavy at that point.
Yeah. But
they want to keep his weight under control, and the rescue team found him. They just said that people would feed him. Go, past the food stall, hand him food, and he would eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's confused. Do you want him to eat what people are giving him? And he just didn't know better.
Nikki, here's where I find myself. I find myself really identifying with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, it's like, I want to eat. I'm uncomfortable. People keep handing me food.
It's just too much.
It's just too much.
They say that he would eat and then he would just lay down on a cushion and then he would just chew on plastic water bottles and then throw them. Not even like moving. You would just throw them around, and that was his day. And he would eat food.
Honestly, okay, let's say you give up a certain amount of freedom. You have to wear a harness and sit at the stall all day. But you get to just lay on cushions and eat all day.
Are you saying, would you want that lifestyle?
I'm just saying,
Are we living that lifestyle?
How bad do you think
People
it is?
bring
Are
us
we doing
food.
it right now?
We're just sitting here.
Are we this monkey?
There's a water bottle right there.
I've thrown some water bottles, maybe.
I don't think we're too far off. We're just the monkeys in the room here.
All right. And it's like dance monkey, and then they look at you and they're like, oh, he can't dance.
Aw, it's sad, but it's like those I see the bear videos when they're like, you drive past and everybody feeds them stuff and they get sluggish. Let's use that word.
Sure.
Sluggish from all the human food that people are feeding them.
Sluggish, ruggish bear, man.
Yeah.
It's just out there.
Too bad. So hopefully he can get some help.
Yeah.
If he wants some help,
maybe
you have
he
to be
likes
ready.
It. He's not ready.
You have to be ready on your own for a change.
Right. You know what? Really, it's about you reaching out. Like once you're ready, then it's time.
Gosh, that picture, he looks uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm uncomfortable looking at it.
I know. You're like, maybe I will just get some more water. It's fine.
I'll just put this back.
I don't need any more.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot. Yep, sounds like The Riot. Radio U.
It is The Riot on Radio U, 8772 Radio U. So, I've been sick on and off, blah, 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 whatever. And yesterday I was I laid around so much. Like, watch TV? No. Just laid there. And as I was laying there, these words came back to me from a band that I can't remember. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could give credit where credit is due. It was actually a guy who was just talking in between the songs. And he said, we're not God's commodity. We are God's treasure. And I remember being like, yeah, it's really good. And then, of course, we had that song from Remedy Drive, Commodity.
Yeah.
And then I was laying there yesterday and I was like, do you even know what a commodity is? And I was like, yeah, it's like a thing. I was like, actually, I don't think I have a solid definition for what commodity is. So I looked it up, and a commodity is basically something that you use to make money. So like, you buy a commodity like oil, and then, the hope is that you'd sell it for more later. Like it's not that it has any value in and of itself. It's something that its value is that you can sell it and make more money. And so I just got to thinking about that yesterday, that idea that we are God's treasure, not his commodity. A commodity is something that's only good for what it can do and what it can give you. And a treasure is something where you're like, I'm going to keep this. And if you came to my basement, you would be like, why do you have this?
That's treasure.
That's treasure, bro. Shut up.
Don't mention it.
Does it do anything? You just get out of here. I don't want to hear about it. That's the way God looks at us. We're not a commodity. God is not looking at you as what can you do for him? What can he use you for? How useful are you going to be? For those of you that are in the family, the parable of the talents doesn't always mean what you think it does. I just throw that out there. God is not just sitting around waiting for you to produce. He loves you as you are. You're his treasure. And there are going to be days when you're about as useful as a Funko Pop sitting next to a monitor. But you know what?
Speaking of your treasure.
Don't you badmouth that Funko Pop, because he loves it. And so Jesus loves you. And it doesn't matter today whether you're, killing it or not killing it. You're loved where you are. And if you don't have a relationship with God, I can't completely understand it. I know the way I work, and I know God works a different way, but somehow he loves you and I no matter what. So if you don't know him, just say, Jesus, I want that. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I want to have a relationship with you. Teach me what it's like to be treasured. And that's a great place to start.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
You guys knew that it was going to happen. Like you knew it was. It was inevitable. And here it is. Black Widow is coming to Disney Plus.
Okay. To be the person who does the graphics for like the movie posters and all that stuff, the amount of changing of dates they have to do in that department.
You know what, Nikki?
Keeps their job secure.
Thing about Photoshop is you just use a lot of layers, and then you just have that one layer that you have to keep changing.
Just imagine, like, let's say Bob is in that department. They're like, all right, well, Black Widow, get it back up. Now it's in July. Everything has been changed so many times.
You make sure it says only in theaters in like big letters.
Now you can't even say that because Black Widow will be on Disney Plus.
So it was supposed to be out May 7th, and now they're like, well, May 7th. It's something you say.
We meant July.
So now it's going to be out July 9th, and it's going to be in theaters, and it's going to be on Disney Plus for $30.
So it'll be the extra fee that you pay for it to watch it, which I am curious. I would love to see its numbers compared to the only ones they've done that for would be Mulan and the more recent animated one. But this is like the first non-animated one they've done with a premium price.
Right.
I'd be curious, like, how much will they actually make from it?
I think, okay.
A lot more or less?
I think it goes like this. The economics of it are probably a little complicated, but think about it like this. I mean, in movie theaters, the opening weekend, the movie theater itself makes almost no money on that. They make money on concessions. And then the longer a movie has, the tail, like the longer it's in the theater itself, the more money a movie theater makes. Now, Disney goes factory direct to you, sells you this movie for $30. Piracy becomes super easy. So people can get a high quality pirated copy of this movie with little to no effort. But then there are plenty of people that are still going to pony up and pay for it. But here's the other question. How many people pile in? So there were me and 6 friends. We're all going to watch Black Widow, and we were going to go to the theater, and we would each buy a ticket. But now instead, we're all going to pile into my family room or whatever and watch this movie.
But would the piling in offset the piracy sort of thing? You know, like, yeah, it's weird to see how that'll work out.
I think they'll make a ton
of money on it.
And I'll tell you why. Because there are going to be so many people that haven't been to the movies in so long, and they will, and there hasn't been a Marvel movie. I mean, you know, you've had the series and stuff, but you haven't had a movie since was Avengers Endgame the last Marvel movie?
I think so. It's been a while.
It was like 100 years ago.
That's
was it
why
200
Black Widow
years ago?
Feels really old to me.
Yeah.
Feels like it's already been out like years ago.
Well, it was supposed to be.
Yeah, so we'll have to see, but it'll be in July when it comes to Disney Plus in theaters with the new way of how it always happens. $30.
I can't decide like what like whether I would pay the $30 for it or not.
Well, you have time.
It's true.
You have time to decide about it. They might change their minds.
Well, I haven't done any of that premium purchasing kind of stuff. What I have done is I've rented
HBO
stuff
Max
and I've
stuff.
done HBO Max, but I haven't like paid the big bucks to get the movie early kind of a thing. And this comes out on 4K Blu-ray on my birthday. And then it also becomes unlocked on Disney Plus that day. And you're like, well, you know, I've waited 100 years. What's 150?
Now everybody's texting to say Spider-Man Far From Home.
What
was
about
the last one outside of
Okay,
Avengers.
that's right. Because we saw the like sad Spidey. Well, we did.
Okay. So Disney also talked about some of their other movies, and they got shifted a bit too, but they'll be on Disney Plus.
The other one was Cruella. They're going to do that as a premiere access thing, which they call it. So I'd just be curious. Throw us a text, 877-2-RADIO-U. Would you pay $30 to watch Black Widow at home? And remember, you can watch it as many times as you want after that.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
Man, now that we're...
It's fine. You're just passing it to everybody.
You know what? Let's work together. Nikki, did you see what's happening this weekend? I feel like when it comes to movies, now let's keep in mind, not everybody's going to share what I'm about to say, but I feel like when it comes to movies, all I'm thinking about is Godzilla right now.
Yeah.
But
that's next weekend.
That's next weekend. And there's another movie coming out this weekend.
What's this one?
It's the Bob Odenkirk beat 'em up movie.
Which one?
It's the one. He's the Better Call Saul guy.
Oh my gosh! It's the one where it's like John Wick, but in a house,
right?
And slightly
and he
different.
has a family, so like his puppy's not dead, but he's
the family thing.
But I don't think his family's dead either.
No, but it looks good. It is just very stylized, like the original John Wick movie.
Right, and I
thought that came out already. I thought that was like last year.
Exactly that.
What is it called?
Wait, that's the only part I didn't write down.
You didn't write down its title?
I wrote down the Bob Odenkirk movie.
Okay.
Hang on, I'll get it. Movies at... It's okay. We're loading slow. Wants my location. Can't just tell me.
Is it Nobody?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Looks kind of good.
Is it free or where is it at?
No, it's coming to theaters.
Is it? Is it a theater one?
Yeah. It's not like, hey, could you rent it on the whatever? Unless I'm way wrong, which is possible, of course. It's coming out only in theaters this weekend.
Gotcha.
What? A movie in the theaters? Coming out this... What?
I don't know what to do. I can't see it then.
Oh, my gosh.
I just haven't gone back to theaters yet. Even though I know plenty of people that have and say it's just fine.
You know what's funny is I'm looking here, I'm trying to just find, like, can somebody give me a showtime? And they're like, would you like to rent a private theater? No, I just want to know what time the movies start.
Are you sure?
Like, can you tell me? And they're like, here, rent this theater.
Basically, this movie looks like, what's the insurance commercials with the...
Mayhem.
It just reminds me of that, but just in a long movie form.
Man, what is wrong with these movie theaters? Do you guys remember how to just let a guy get a ticket? Here we go. Nobody. It comes out the 26th. So that's actually Thursday. Mm-hmm. No, it's not.
Friday.
It's just because today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. He wasn't here yesterday.
I don't know what's going on.
He's off a day.
You know what else I like about it? It's 90 minutes.
And see, that's realistic.
And again, I'm not, I don't want you guys to think that I'm necessarily endorsing it. I just have been thinking how cool it would be to go to the movies again.
Yeah, wait till Godzilla. Wait till next week.
You think so?
Yeah, don't use that up on this. I'm sure it's just fine. Like, I don't know. It could be a good movie. Could be trash. I don't know. But you want Godzilla and Kong. You're going to love that movie. So
yes, I am.
Wait till then.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you feel better. And you're all healed up and you're all able to go.
That's a shame.
So I wouldn't waste it on this one.
Boy, they got, let me tell you what, if you go through, you know, that theater that we like to go to?
Yeah.
If you go through the movie, if you go through the movies that they're selling tickets for right now, it's
nothing,
like,
right?
Oh, you poor people. You poor people. You're trying so hard. You're trying so hard. Oh, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there'll be plenty.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, man.
Easy there, everybody.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everybody just relax. It's just that I spent the last couple of weeks naked and afraid in a storm drain.
What? So this really happened? Or they think that she maybe was in there that long?
So there's this woman.
How would she survive?
I don't know.
I don't want to know.
Don't tell me.
Don't want to know what went on.
So there's a woman that's been missing since March 3rd. Now, the article makes the leap that from March 3rd until yesterday, she was in this storm drain.
Or maybe
we don't actually know that.
Maybe she was somewhere else and then got into the drain.
Yeah, but okay, like, you know that the thing from It, where like in the drain and the kid's like, I'm following the boat.
Sure.
And then Pennywise grabs him and I don't know what happens after that, but it can't be good. It's like that. Well, this lady was stuck in this storm drain. We don't know for how long.
But she's told rescuers that she was in the drain for a while.
She's in there for a while.
Oh, she's in her 40s. She was at Delray Beach, and pedestrians around finally heard cries for help.
And so someone...
She was 8 feet down?
That's the thing that's crazy to me is that drain was 8 feet deep. So that could be like, hey, we're having fun. We're going to climb in the...
Oh, yeah, you can't get out.
And then you're stuck.
I don't know. I mean, depending on if there's been a lot of people around, wouldn't someone have just heard her earlier?
One would think.
Is she lying about? I mean, she's obvious she was in the drain. I feel like there's more details here.
We haven't heard the whole story. There's no doubt about that, especially considering the fact that she was in the drain naked. Feels like meth, but I'm not sure.
Just saying. Feels like something else. It was dirty, dangerous, snakes, rats, garbage, dirt, leaves, anything that's on the street washes into the sewer. And they say the smell is just absolutely terrible.
Boy, I'll tell you, like, if you want to hear somebody screaming.
Well, that's why. If I fell in the drain, you would have heard me way early on.
It wouldn't be one of those things where it was like, and 3 weeks later, they heard him screaming.
You could.
It would be like, I think the drain is haunted.
Something's going on. You could have heard me several states over. It would have been that loud.
I'm sure that more will escape,
Yeah.
but details. But I feel like this is worth mentioning because if today you were like, wouldn't it be cool if we explored the drain?
Well, they're also
just a heads up, don't do that.
They're also trying to figure it out because the opening is too small for an adult. So how did she get into the drain?
Do you think?
Is there another way in, or did she remove something, get in, put it back? I don't know.
Maybe somebody thought she had passed and they flushed her, and then it turned out.
I don't want to know what toilet that is. That's it. It's not a fish.
That's what we do with the fish, right? Is that how it works?
No, because when I had a fish that died, I just put it in the trash, but you cover it up to make sure that you can't see it when you open the trash. In fact, you just take the tratrash out to the trash can.
Oh, yeah.
It's
absolutely.
too much to just know he's in there.
Then you start hearing.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Splashing
Nothing?
from inside the trash can, a haunted splashing.
Don't worry about it.
So I don't know if all this is true. I feel like there's just more to the story, and you might never find out.
Well, there she is, Nikki. She's alive, and I'm not going to say well.
The Riot Radio U.
Now, as you may or may not remember, it was last week I got a chance to drive a Tesla, and it was transformative.
He loved it.
He's
not driving one now, like it wasn't that.
No, I was blown away.
Transformative.
By what a next level experience it was. And I know you're like, oh gosh. No, I'm telling you, man. It was amazing.
You loved it.
It was amazing. I loved that car. And I never walk away like, oh my gosh. And that's because it was a car that feels mostly like an iPhone. And so now you can see why I'm suddenly this car enthusiast. But Nikki, you tell me if it doesn't feel like the convergence of life events and it's a sign. I don't know who it's a sign from, but it's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I drive a Tesla last week.
Yeah.
It was last year that I became a Bitcoin 100-aire.
Sure.
So
his Bitcoin has crossed over the 100.
Yeah, I'm at 271.
You're rich now. If you just keep going with that, dump some more in.
Man, I just like the money keeps rolling in.
You're going to have a Tesla amount pretty soon if you just keep going with Bitcoin.
It just keeps happening, man. It just keeps climbing. Just keeps climbing.
And if they don't already, they'll accept Bitcoin, they said. So you could just pay for your new car that way.
Well, Nikki, it's official.
Yeah.
Tesla is now accepting Bitcoin.
Well,
you can buy a Tesla.
You go in there with your
Bitcoin.
with your $200.
Like, hey,
what will this get me?
I got Bitcoin. They said if I brought Bitcoin, I could get a Tesla.
There you go.
Here I am.
Is it like Bitcoin to Bitcoin, like dollar to dollar, or does it equal more?
I don't know how it works. You know what? The thing about Bitcoin is that I haven't worked a lot on getting it set up to where I could actually use this to purchase things if I wanted.
Sure.
But it's the last time I looked at doing that, it was not a simple process.
It's much easier now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because, man, there was a time when it was like, oh, yeah, I'll use Bitcoin to pay for this. And it was like, okay, you got to set up a this and then do a that. And then you wait 3 days.
And are you sure?
After a while, I was like, just forget it.
No, you should be fine.
Okay. Well, you know what? What do you think? Like, tonight, or you want to go tomorrow? You want to come with me? I might have enough to buy 2 Teslas.
I feel like let's see what happens overnight. I don't think you're quite there yet with maybe for 2.
But I mean, the Bitcoin, the money, it just keeps going up. So
you'll have to look it up. I saw a TikTok last night of a guy who delivers them, and he said they take 3 hours to put together a Tesla, the whole car.
Oh, really?
It was really weird.
I mean, maybe it's like they assemble it.
They assemble a car in 3 hours. Like, that's how long. And then they drive it off. They take it to the person who wants to buy it, to the store.
To the Bitcoin 100-aire.
To you.
To
so
me.
you could have one in a few hours.
So when they tell me that my Tesla's new, they're like, no.
It's really new.
The only
I thought it would be a lot longer than that.
Yeah, there's just part of me that's like, hey, did you guys make sure that you tightened all the screws?
Yeah, not everybody's always happy once you own a Tesla. It just depends. Everybody loves to hate or just loves to love. There's no in between where you're realistic about your car purchase.
Hey, listen, I always have terrible things to say about people that have more money and nicer things than I do. And you know what?
Now you're one of them with your Bitcoin.
I want to be one of those people that everyone hates and doesn't like.
Is there anything else you can do? Or you just have to wait Bitcoin out?
I think I'm just going to have to wait. But I am sure that sometime within the next 50 to 100 years, my Bitcoin is going to have matured enough that I'm going to be able to buy a 2020 Tesla.
I know. Many years down the road, a gently used.
Very gently used. Only 7 owners.
So if you have one now, please be kind to yours.
Good to it.
Obi might buy yours in the future.
You just never know.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
Okay, Nikki, what is a Harbor Freight VIP?
So Eric posted a photo the other day. He just takes these morning trips to this place called Harbor Freight. And I thought it was like a Home Depot or a Lowe's or something. It's not. It's what would you say? It's like just tools. Yeah. So it's not like a hardware store. It's just tools.
Okay.
And when he goes for just like one sale thing because he's like...
Oh, he's like I get that, actually. He's the doorbuster guy.
Pretty much. And so you pay, I think it's for a 2-year like VIP sort of membership thing. You know, where if you are a loyalty member at other places.
Kind of like my Best Buy video game thing?
Pretty much. But I think he paid for one thing for like 2 years. So he's one of those guys. And so then they get like these emails of these deals and stuff. And then he's like, oh, I see this one thing that's on a deal. He comes back with so much stuff. I didn't know we need all this stuff. And so the other day he came back with another really like big knife. And he said it was only $6 like in the bargain bin on his way out. I'm like, it doesn't mean we need it.
I loved the photo that he posted.
Oh, of the knife? He got a new sander. We already have a few sanders. He got like several other things. And he's like, but this sander's square. I was like, wait a minute. It's a thing.
Well, I'll tell you this. Eric has gotten into woodworking. And so I've been watching Hometown on Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
This is, it's a long story, but I've been watching it. And they go to this wood shop. And a lot of the things that Eric has said to me over the years made a lot of sense because as they were doing different steps, I was like, this is the stuff that Eric's been talking about.
This is what he's been doing.
This is what it is.
Oh, my gosh. And so it's just like, what email did you get today? And he's like, nothing. And then he goes, and then we have more knives.
Fantastic.
More knives.
Fantastic.
But Wyatt said it's called the Inside Track Club. That's it. And you get a little card in the mail.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Do you get something for your birthday? Not sure.
Probably.
Another knife.
10% off.
10% off a knife.
A knife of your choice. I love it.
Oh, and he doesn't show everything at once. He just unveils things as I find out. That way I'm not too surprised.
I love it. He's like,
so that's it.
Well, the good news is like he can get all that done while you're here. They can sneak it in downstairs and then, nobody has to know about it.
It is there. So it's good times, everybody. Good times. If anybody needs a knife, I have so many of them at our house.
Zach says he doesn't seem to think the quality is very high. He says you have to keep buying them because they keep breaking.
He doesn't mind.
I think where
the fun is going.
If you're telling Eric he gets to go more, well,
Zach, I don't think that doesn't cause any problems right there.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what it is.
All right. Well, good times, everybody.
That's what we're having.
It's the Worst of the Riot on RadioU.
So, Nikki, I know that you have become a GameStop investor, and so you're keeping a close eye on what's happening over there.
I did not, and I have not. He's just making that up.
No, but it's not too late.
No, I will tell you though. Someone gave me some money through the Cash App the other day, and then up popped the Bitcoin thing.
Did you buy some Bitcoin?
I almost did. I almost did. I was like, should I just throw it over there or just add a little extra money? But I took it out because it just automatically, if someone gives you money, it automatically puts it in my account.
Right.
But for a moment there, I was tempted.
We could be Bitcoin buddies.
We could. But I don't know. I haven't decided. Maybe I'll throw a little in there.
So the thing that I have found myself wondering, and maybe you have too, if you haven't been following GameStop, it's that place where they sell games. Well, some people on Reddit decided to make a run on GameStop stock and all this stuff. And so the stock
became super overvalued for what it was. People made a ton of money. And it caused a lot of problems.
So GameStop continues to live. Mm-hmm. And now the question a lot of people, myself included, have had is like, well, so what do they do now? Because basically they bought ThinkGeek, which was a website I loved, and they chewed it up and spit it out and destroyed all that was good about it.
Ruined it.
Yeah. And
We've never gone there and had like an employee or like a pleasant experience where they were happy you came in.
GameStop?
Yeah, I've never had one.
You know what? Okay.
They always seem very unhappy.
The one that I went to when the PS5 was like brand new, because I bought a couple games and I joined their club. The people in there were crazy nice. Almost like, how is that possible?
Well, they had an issue where didn't they fire like a bunch of managers too, and it's
a whole thing.
They had this thing. Remember that promotion? Like they've done some weird choices, and so it's made people that work there kind of unhappy.
Well,
what are they doing now?
Here's the news, Nikki. They did an earnings call yesterday.
Yeah,
and they talked about what's the future of GameStop. And they say that they are going to start selling computer parts, like graphics cards and things like that. They're going to sell monitors, and they're going to sell gaming TVs.
That makes more sense than some of the other stuff they put in there.
So what are you talking about?
Some of the... They relied heavily on...
They got Funkos from floor to ceiling in there.
They relied heavily on accessories, and I don't know how much that actually brought in.
I don't know either, but this is what they say they're going to do. The only problem I see for GameStop is this. One, that would be great for people who don't have a Micro Center around, and I'm not saying I spend times in those Reddit forums, but like if you don't live near a store like that, it's
dedicated.
It can be very hard to get computer parts. The only problem is like GameStop, you're not going to suddenly be able to get the computer parts that nobody else can. Computer stuff is so hard to get your hands on right now. And you're like, I'm talking about the good stuff, the stuff in the back.
So basically from their words, they were saying they want to become less reliant on the cyclical nature of console launches and sunsetting.
Sunsetting is what they do to a console when a new one comes out.
Okay.
So like after a while, it goes away.
Yeah.
But
it's big for a little bit, but they really rely on that.
So they are trying
They want money the rest of the months.
It's weird. You guys want money more than once every 8 years?
They're not saving it as much as they should.
Yeah, but that's what they say they're going to do. They're going to rely on some hardware sales, which, I don't know, that's cool. Like maybe that works out for them because, like I said, if you are a PC gamer, gosh, just got nerdy in here just saying it out loud.
Let me ask you a question then. As someone who, outside of my Switch, I'm a Switch gamer, which is way different. I recognize
totally different
console gaming from the other stuff. I always felt like console gamers didn't necessarily like PC gaming, and PC gaming didn't really think the best of console gaming.
Over time, they have started to merge.
And so the store itself, I would feel like if you were a PC gamer, would you go into GameStop, or was that always the place you wouldn't go because that was just for console stuff? Did it have a stigma to it? I
can't speak for everyone, but I can tell you that I have been one of those people that are like, no, I'll waste my money on all of it. I don't need to just waste my money on one.
Yeah, you've always done all of it.
Like one of the things I would always do with consoles is that the fact that you could buy used games was a big bonus because you could get things cheaper or you could trade them or whatever. And man, with a computer, once you bought it, it's yours forever. That's all.
Can't do anything else with it.
It's stuck in your Steam library for the rest of your unnatural life.
I just didn't know if this would really help them if a lot of PC gamers would still rather go somewhere else to buy their stuff.
I don't know. It's a good question.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now. at RadioU.com/donate.
I know what you're doing.
What?
That's not about football. That's about the bathroom.